Today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to take your basic ass bike and turn it into a blingin' ass beast. If you're like me and hate your bike, if you're like me and you love your bike, but you hate how plain it is, I'm going to show you how to spend $25 to pimp your bike out with a roll of Pimp My Bike. This is my first time ever using gold wrap, so I wanted to document the process and give you guys any amateur tips that I've learned throughout the way to make your process easier than mine was. This video is going to show you what to do and what not to do as you follow along on my amateur wrapping journey. And then after we're done with the wrap, we're going to take the bike on a test ride and see how sick it looks on video. Drop a comment and let me know what color we should wrap the bike next. Now let's get to wrapping, people. That's one long ass truck. Alrighty people, another shop update for you guys. Last week we went ahead and bought the 2024 ZX6R. A lot of you guys probably didn't see that video because I disguised it as a ZX6R motor on a skateboard and it did horrendously, as it should. We bought the 24 ZX6R up north for 4,800 bucks, and then the 23 ZX6R that I was stunt riding stock, I went ahead and parted out and took some parts off of it, like the subframe and a couple other odds and ends to make this bike run and look great. I still need to find a gauge cluster for this. It is about $1,000 from Kawasaki, so I haven't been jumping to go buy one of those. So while we wait to find parts like this, we're just going to be doing fun projects like wrapping the S1K and giving it a new clean look for a super cheap deal. If you guys have any 24 fairings, headlight, speedometer, I'm interested. I need that. As soon as we find parts for this 24 people, we'll start to get more update videos as far as the build goes, but for the time being, we're just doing other fun projects. Whatever was left of the 23 ZX6R is right over here in this pile, on this rack, and in this little cart. But the main thing I was trying to sell off this bike to make my money back was the $3,000 motor, which I found a really cool buyer, and he was super stoked to get his bike up and running. We got a blown motor. This is like bringing me back flashbacks from 2019 when I did it to my ZX6R. But we got the vacuum sealed 23 motor sold to your boy Chris.
Yes sir. You know,
yes sir. If you need a car, come out to the Ford.
Gary Yeoman's Ford.
If Chris has got the day off, check out your boy right here. They're gonna get you plugged in.
Can't wait to be back on the streets, man. Can't
yes
wait.
Sir.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, of course, homie. So we got the 23 motor sold out of the ZX6R, and then we also got the R7 motor sold. So we got an empty back of our van with just some coolant and oil everywhere. So I'm stoked, people. We've recovered a lot of funds from our over investing on bike projects and a really nasty mattress pad. So we also bought that R7 for 300 bucks. It took me about a day to part it out, but this is the bag of parts for it, and I went ahead and made all my money back and then some, selling the motor for $550 and then a bunch of other miscellaneous things. So all that was going great until the other day I hit one of these random bugs that are hitting people's marketplace, and I was banned, and I have like a 7-day review. Apparently a ton of people on Facebook are dealing with their accounts getting banned on marketplace with good standing and no issues or anything like that. So yeah, getting into what today's video is about, you guys seen the title. We have this all black S1000 that we've been riding for a while, but the bike's just kind of plain. It's been plain since I bought it. I kind of like the all black, like low-key look, but I just wanted to flare this bike up a lot. Originally I was going for like a burnt orange look. I haven't seen any S1000s wrapped in burnt orange or painted in burnt orange, like a chrome burnt orange. I could not find any wraps online that were like a reputable brand and looked decent. All the reviews were kind of crappy. So there's a lot of imperfections on this front fairing. I'm gonna try my best to just clean it up as much as I can, and then we're just gonna try to wrap it in gold and see what kind of look we can get. So the plus side is we didn't really invest too much. We got 16 bucks in this knifeless tape, which I've never used before. This is about $10 in little accessories. You got these little squeegee type tools, a little flat blade knife, and we spent $25 on a 3x5 foot piece of gold. This is from Vivid. And like I said, $40 altogether we spent on all this project, and if it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world, but at least we get some more experience. The main goal with this is to get better and better at wrapping. That way I can slowly convert this van into a nice clean wrap, starting off with a hood first and foremost. Because I can get a piece of Nardo gray, which I think would look really good for the hood. It's about 50 bucks just to do that piece. And a hood being flat with these two little curves, not much to it. It's a really simple piece to learn as far as wrapping a vehicle for the first time. We got the gold wrap, and up against that glossy black, it already looks really nice. I don't want to go too crazy with the gold. I don't know how much we can cover with this 3x5 foot piece, but we'll just start prepping the bike, getting it nice and clean with all the panels so this stuff can stick. And then we're just going to give you a step-by-step process of my amateur self trying to put some gold on this thing. Stay tuned, people. Alright, so we got the bike all clean, we got our tools over here laid out. We got our mag pan. If we take off any plastics, we can go ahead and leave the bolts in here and label whatever the bolts go to. This right here is a water bottle of water and alcohol. And I was told this is nice to wipe the fairings with right before you put the wrap on so it gets the best adhesive possible. But yeah, let's get into it, people, and start seeing how this wrap goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and narrate everything that I've learned as far as wrapping goes with this project and all the tips and tricks that I've learned throughout the way. First things first, you wanna go ahead and wipe it down with that alcohol water solution. That way everything sticks nicely. So the first couple pieces I messed up taking the protective liner off before I started stretching and wrapping, and I would highly recommend that you keep that protective liner as long as you can, and then the sooner that you take it off, the more imperfections that you'll have from the vinyl, which I'll show you guys later. To lay out your piece and to basically see the measurements of how much wrap material that you need. I was being kind of cheap and getting it really close to the edge, and it ended up backfiring because I had to lay the piece perfectly on the vinyl. So definitely give yourself extra slack when you're cutting the material. You're not saving but a couple cents. And once again, I'm showing you guys where I messed up peeling this protective liner off before I started to lay it on the fairing. And this is my first attempt at laying the vinyl down. As you can see, it's really easy to bend around. It kind of reminds me of like tinfoil, but having that clear protective liner on will leave the fingerprints or whatever kind of stretch marks that you have. The goal with the protective liner is to get that flat surface nice and laid out, and then once you have like your edges and harder corners and stuff like that, you can pull off that clear vinyl and finish up the edges. And this is why I say cut plenty of extra material for each piece. That way you don't have to keep laying the material down over and over again until you get both edges lined up. Finally, I just did it upside down and had to flip it around. It was just a big mess.
We'll come back.
So next up, I'm experimenting with the 3M knifeless tape. It's pretty straightforward. It's just tape with string in the middle, and you just lay it down with your pattern how you want it. After that, I got the hang of laying down the gold properly. As you can see, I laid it down like super flat, as much of the center piece as I could without any wrinkles, and then just kind of working around the edges, getting it how you want it. So it's hard to see here, but I started the edge of the knifeless tape with the razor blade, and then it gave me a little bit of a track, and then you just pull the string and it cuts it in the track of the tape that you laid down. And then that satisfaction of pulling it off. So now I did the front, it was time to do the other front, and I started to get the hang of what was going on. I still have the protective film on here, so you can see I can bend it pretty well to get the edges in. And then after I was finally to where I needed to be, I could pull off that protective film. Everything looks nice and clean, but the ear right here where the mirror goes, need a little bit extra help. So this is how it looked after some experience, but I wanted to show you guys what it looked like my first and second wrap on this bike. Really tough material to work with. That's the one spot I like laid flat. And then I forgot that this side's more visible, so I had to actually stretch this side after. So it's just flexible enough, even with the protective film on, to kind of stretch it over these flat pieces. That's where it really matters to keep that mirror look without any distortion. You can start to see where the line splits the two panels. So as you guys see, I've improved a ton since my first time doing the rear panel. This is the first time doing it. All these little marks, scratches and stuff are just from me stretching the vinyl. So yeah, if I could give you guys any advice, it'd be to keep the protective film on as much as you can to get the flat surface, and then when you get to your curves and stuff, then you can peel that film off. But also, if you have the option to keep your panels mounted to the bike, it helps, so you don't have to have something holding it. Wrap companies have like stands and stuff that they hold panels on, so they can get a grip on it and still stretch the vinyl. But if you don't have that option, keeping it mounted to the bike, as you guys can see, I was able to stretch it out and also use stuff like this to stick the vinyl to, so you can stretch it onto the surface so you actually want to wrap. We're gonna get some B-roll of this thing, try to get a little test ride in, see how it looks first person, but got ourselves a gold dip Beamer for 25 bucks, people.
Just happy I did it, nigga, nobody ever gave me none. Flexing so hard, I might pull a muscle, but I just keep stunning. 30 in the mag, you get body bag, I'm just gonna keep dumping. Police get behind me, I'ma press the gas, I'm just gonna keep stomping. I'm just gonna keep stomping. Plotting on the come up with the scheme. Now I hit the stage and they scream. I was trying to cope through them hard times for the max bills, I was fiending. Got a bad bitch, honey skin tone, pretty long hair, she believes. Trying to tell you, girl, I can't love you, I'm cold-hearted little thing. Dysfunction new, I can't show affection, might bug off for no reason. Really, you don't even gotta be here, I done got so used to people leaving. You was riding for me, then you switched up, now it's fuck you and I mean it. Couple situations left me traumatized, now I say less, I'm speechless. If my brother needed, then I got him, and the whole gang know I'm bleeding. Trying to wake up from them nightmares, devil in my all, I'm dreaming. In my past life, did some bad things, I know karma trying to get even. Trying to get away from all that drama, I hopped in the Benz, now I'm speeding. Told him I was gonna be some.